Welcome to the Business Spotlight podcast. My name is Kay Cote, and I'm your host for today's episode. Today on the show, I have Kabir Israni, CEO of Raveum, as my guest. We're going to be learning about his journey through business ownership, best practices that he's learned, and challenges that he's faced to give you that inside look to what it's like to build and operate a business. Welcome. It's so great to have you on the show.
Thank you, Kay. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Well, before we dive into all things business, I'd love to share with our audience a bit about you. So take us back as far as you want and share a bit about yourself.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I was born and brought up in Mumbai, India. I was there for about 18 years. I come from a family of business owners. My parents were founders. They founded a company called Telebrands India together, which was India's first tele shopping channel. They scaled that across about seven different countries. They were in Nepal, Bangladesh, the UK, United Arab Emirates, and then eventually I was fortunate enough that they sent me to the US to study. I went to the University of Massachusetts in Amherst, which is a great school for doing anything but study, but it was a lot of fun. And I focused on computer science over there. I was fortunate enough that during the pandemic, I was able to intern at ServiceNow in the Bay Area. I did that for 3 summers. So freshman year summer, so sophomore year summer, junior year summer, so on and so forth. And that's where I started Raveum. So I've only been graduated for about a year and a half now. And I moved here to downtown Austin where you are. I love this place. It's great. And yeah, I've been building it out from here so far.
Oh, wonderful. Well, that is so cool to hear, your story of, where you began and then all the different places you've been. And now you're here in the beautiful sunny Texas, which is, I mean, today it's a little cloudy, but it's
It's great. It's not freezing cold every day. You should come live in Boston. It's like 10 degrees. It's like impossible.
I'm from North Dakota, so I
Okay, I don't know how that's gonna go then. I don't know. It
it's
gets really
so
cold, yeah. Well, you're from I'm from India. I hadn't seen snow my entire life before I got came there. It's a lot. It's a lot of day. The day I landed into the US to go to college, there was a snowstorm, and it was in the middle of COVID. So we rented a car, and we drove in the middle of the snowstorm. It was a lot of fun. It was great. It was great.
wild. Welcome to the United States. Here's a blast of snow.
There's a massive snow. Yes, very true. Very true. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing a bit about yourself. I'm excited for this conversation and, and your business. And so, tell me a bit about the business and kind of like how did it get started? Were you involved from the start of it?
Yeah, yeah. So I founded the company. I had the idea back in 2022. So what happened was that I was working at ServiceNow, which is a beautiful, great company, great people. I love them over there very much. And as an intern, I was making quite good money. I was making a lot of money, more money than I ever thought I'd make in the US. Where I'm from in India, if you make $1,000 a month, you consider like, wow, I really done something. And over here, you're making like $50 an hour. You're like, I didn't know what to do with all that capital, right? So being Indian, it's in our culture that we really invest in gold or we invest in real estate. That's pretty much the two places where we'd explore. And I knew about these triple net pre-lease deals that are in the US that offer you like a 8% cap rate or a 7% cap rate. Now, for those of you who don't know what cap rates are basically what is your net rental income on a property after taxes, after expenses. So let's say, Kay, if you invested $100 in a real estate deal, you're making $7 a year in rent after you pay your taxes and after the expenses of operating that property. You have a 7% cap rate.
Um,
Now, when I learned about that as an opportunity, I was shocked because the average cap rate in Mumbai, where I'm from, it's between 0.5 to 1%. So it's almost 6 or 7 times higher in the US. And back when I was in college, you're academic first. You're like, okay, what does this really mean? What's the impact of what you're doing? And I was like, hey, if I pitch this product and this opportunities to friends and family back in India, they'll go for it. I had saved about 30 grand and I wanted to invest. And now you can't buy a real estate deal for $30,000. And I can't get a loan because I'm not from the US. I don't have the credit to make it happen. So I went back to India. I asked my friends and my families, look, this is the deal. I'll put all my money in it. I believe in it. I'll manage it. Will you invest with me? And I got a resounding yes. And I was like, okay, this may be an opportunity over here. I went back, it was in the States, I did my research, and I realized that these deals that pay you corporate guarantees, I'm talking about the Starbucks, I'm talking about Walgreens, they are in this property for 20 years that anyone can buy right now. You go to loopnet.com, you can find a deal, you can buy it. They have guaranteed rental income that comes out monthly or quarterly, along with foreign exchange gain, which is basically because the dollar goes up in value. The net return in India was so high and that it would be the most competitive real estate project in India's history. And that's what blew my mind. When I was like, okay, if I could just get people from India to invest in these real estate projects, I could really do a lot of good, make a lot of money myself, invest in these deals myself, and give them an opportunity. We took that a step forward, which I think everyone does, where we realized that the significant portion of the Indian economy is investing in something called fixed deposits, right? Fixed deposits are like the CDs here in the US, where you just put the money in, lock it with a bank, you make like 3%, 4% interest. And oftentimes there's inflation, so you don't really make any money. You really are just like breaking even or losing some money. And we added on inflation, we added on foreign exchange, and we found a way, we wrote a paper on this, that what happens if a significant portion of the Indian economy that invests in FDs, the middle class, was to invest in our deals, where we make premiums, we make good money, we make it happen for them. The impact was so heavy that we think we could have pushed the poverty line down in India by 8 points in a year and a half. And that's an economic shift that no government in history has ever been able to have. And
Wow.
once I learned about that, that's when I started Raveum, which is just basically a way that anyone from outside the US can own a piece of the US dream, right? They can invest in US real estate. And that was back in 2022. That's, I think, yeah, 2022 now. Yeah.
That's incredible. I mean, just to see like that opportunity. So are now your ideal clients are so they're from obviously other parts of the world, is correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, so what happens is that let's say that you're a US sponsor and you want to raise money for a real estate project. Now, you want to raise LP money. Okay, you've done a bunch of these podcasts, right? You met a bunch of different people. Have you
Hmm.
met real estate folks?
A few, yes.
Yeah, and they're always raising money, right?
Yes, just like
Yeah.
most most entrepreneurs. Yeah.
Yeah, they're always raising money. LP
Yeah.
money is hard to come by. The cost of capital here can be as high as 8%. So if you're raising $100, you're spending $8 in marketing, sales, compliance, operational, or whatever. I can get a raise done for under a percent because that you're putting your what do you call deals in a market where the need is there. So my ideal customers are those people in these countries that don't have stable financial opportunities and sponsors in the US who need to raise money. So I'm sort of a marketplace. We call ourselves marketplace money. That's what we call ourselves. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now it's starting to make sense. Okay.
Mm.
So within the company now, is it just you as the sole founder, or do you have other, like what's your kind of leadership structure look like? Or
Yeah, so I'm the founder, I'm the CEO. I have a co-founder and COO. His name is Ayush.
Mhm.
Northeastern knew him since I grew up. He's working on the technical side right now, building out the platform because we have 133,000 users right now. So it's a big, heavy overall and making it happen. We also have on our board Glenn Hansen. Glenn Hansen's the founder and CEO of Colony Hills Capital. 36% IRR across his last 17 years. Huge in the real estate space, almost $1 billion in deals. So very, very well versed. I also have my father on the board of my company and my mother. Both scaled their business to 100 million, exited, sold it. Now they're in the US, living the dream and enjoying themselves. And they've been successful in a market like India, where it's a very different market than what the US is. There isn't as much consumer confidence. Education levels are pathetically low. And you really have to spend your efforts and time actually financially educating people rather than convincing them on what to do, because that's our main goal, right? I can tell you what to buy, but if I teach you why you need it, it's better for them. It's better for the company's vision and the mission as well.
Oh, definitely. So you have a good team now. Do you have any employees as
Yeah,
well?
yeah. We just hired, like, we almost tripled our employee size last week. Strong team out of India, strong team out of the US, investor relations, operations, marketing, the whole bunch. Yeah. Because we just raised money. We also raised our first round of funding recently. Just we opened a round of funding October 25th, closed it already. So we're done and we're all set. Yeah.
Amazing. So how many team members are you total?
about 15 now.
Oh, nice. That's a great team. So like a really healthy size for sure.
We're not, I mean, nothing big yet. I mean, it's still small by most scale. If you're a real business and you actually have paying customers, I think 10 to 15 is sort of the perfect size to make it happen.
I agree. A lot of the companies that I've interviewed on here, that's about the size that they are. I mean, because then it's like kind of a strong and mighty team and everybody like but still tight knit enough where you communicate and you're able to work really closely with one another. So that's really
Definitely, definitely. I mean, especially with us, like cross-border, like we're working with Indian staff, Indian team members, Indian compliance, and we US staff, US team members, US compliance. That being small gives you that scrappiness. People are doing what they're doing. I don't come and interfere with their day-to-day tasks too much. I let them do what they're good at and what we hired them for. So I think it's good. I think the team is very, very motivated because everyone in our team is from Indian descent, right? So they get the numbers, they understand why we're doing what we're doing, and that gives them a lot of passion for building what we're building because I feel like it's not just another job. You're doing something that's affecting real change, and that's very, very important to us.
that's incredible. I love that. So now has there been any challenges with having the international, say, there's communication overseas, or has there been any challenges that have come up in the business that have given you roadblocks
Oh,
with?
God, yeah. I mean, yeah, 100%. I mean, firstly, trying to get anything approved by the SEC will cost you an arm and a leg. It's like $600 an hour for a lawyer, and then it's so difficult to make it happen. I remember I blew through my entire budget, then I went like 60 grand in debt or something like incredible like that at some point because I was just trying to talk to lawyers and figure out, look, how do I do these real estate raises? Like, what is regulation A? What's regulation D? How does all this work? And coming out of that hole and making it all work was very, very difficult. And that took a lot of time. And basically, the solution was that, hey, don't go pay a lawyer what to do. Instead, tell them what you want. They'll give you a scope of work. Go to the next law firm. Show them your scope of work. Tell them what else you need to do. Get a quote from them and keep doing that until no more law firms will talk to you because they had become wise to your act. And we were very, very blessed that a lawyer whose name is Mark Stutzman, hopefully you see this, shout out to you, really stood by us, like really mentored me into understanding how regulations work, what to do, and did a lot of the work for us early on, sometimes not getting paid as well. So he really took that step forward to actually make sure we got here. But the biggest challenge was when we had a real estate deal, we launched in the market and people started investing, and the banks in India declined the transaction. So imagine you're like launched, you have people investing in your deals, and
Yeah.
then the banks are saying, no, 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 this is not going to work. And then I had to fly down to India. I was there for 6 months. I don't have a house or anything. So I was staying with Ayush at his parents on like a parents' house on the sofa or in the office space that my dad had rented out. And it was awful because for 6 months, you would just be going to different banks, telling them what you're doing, getting the approvals in place. But all that led to the point where Kotak Mahindra Bank, which is one of the biggest banks in India, they're like the JP Morgan Chase of India. They approved our product and they became our private banking arm, and they basically said that whenever someone signs up on our platform, within 3 business days, wherever they're in India, and India is a big place, someone will go to their house and do the paperwork for them. So we got that representation, and that really gave us that early boost and credibility to make things happen. But that I think was the most difficult part, those 6 months.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't even imagine like that pressure.
Yeah, I just moved to Austin. I had moved to Austin a year and a half ago. I moved here, I launched the bank's decline, and then I was back to India. I had to go back. Yeah, it's
Unplanned trip home.
unplanned trip home, but there's no one home. My entire family's in the US. It was great. It's awesome.
Gosh. Oh, well, okay. So, I'd love to kind of like look at what do you have in store? What's your trajectory for the company here in the next, say, 3 to 5 years?
Well, I don't know about the next 3 to 5 years, but I can tell you in the next 1 year, we're looking to raise close to 80 to $100 million in deals and equity capital raises. And we're well on track to do that. We have strong sponsor partnership arms like Colonials Capital and other firms that are joining us. And um, the real thing here is that there is no lack of real estate firms who need capital, but there is an abundance of really, really bad deals. Like there are some deals that you should not invest in, and that's been a big challenge for us is finding the sponsors that A are credible, be ethical. They're doing something that makes sense, and they're not going to go and throw a financial model out with an exit cap of like 15%, which is not realistic for any. I mean, that was a very, very, I didn't mean to sound what do you call it, privileged and give you like a real estate term that doesn't make sense. The point is, it just doesn't make sense. What you're saying, you can never achieve. And so that's been the primary challenge because when it comes to raising money, if you're in a market that needs what you're offering, it's relatively straightforward.
Hmm. Hmm. That makes a lot of sense too. Now, has there been what are some of the like additional challenges like you see maybe as you grow? Are there things that you're really focused on that you're working through currently?
I mean, it's just making sure everything is compliant and above head, right?
Yeah.
There's a practice that we follow at the company, which is form, not substance, which is like we're working with the SEC, we're working with these regulations, and something may seem like you could get away with it and you could do something in a particular manner, structure something to make it easier for yourself. But if it goes against the ethos and what the SEC is trying to prevent, you shouldn't do that, even if you think you're right, right? So we are very, very adamant that hey, not only are we going to abide by these regulations, but we're going to ensure that what is it the SEC is trying to prevent, we stay in line with that, so that when we grow and we're bringing in capital infusion in the U.S. economy, which is very important for the U.S., right? They need money here, they want investment here, and they want to grow the economy, and we're here, and I live here now, so I want to grow this economy as well. And this is like a symbiotic way of offering financial opportunities to international economies that need it while growing our local economy and bringing money here that doesn't exist. So it's sort of the perfect mixture of both those things. It's important to have the compliance fee first. Be regulated, do it the right way, get the audits, don't cut any corners, and use as much tech as you can to make sure that there isn't any leakage in the system while keeping it sustainable. I think that's going to be the most important piece. I mean, I come from a software engineering background. ServiceNow is one of the biggest software engineering companies in the world, and they run pretty much everyone else's platforms. I don't know if before you were working where you're working, if you'd ever used a ServiceNow platform before, but it's been very, very helpful of keeping that lens first always.
Definitely. That makes sense. Like when you put the right people in place, it can run so much more smoothly.
Yeah, and don't mislead people. That's very important, right? Don't promise them an outcome that cannot exist.
Mm, that's
Uh,
a big one. That's a big one. I think that's like a golden nugget for this conversation because yeah, it's like they always say, what is it? Under promise, over deliver.
Yeah, under promise, over deliver is great. Definitely. I mean, I agree. I mean, when I say don't mislead people, I think it comes to both ends. Like I tell sponsors, look, we're not a silver bullet. Like capital raising isn't like guaranteed outcomes. And I tell investors, look, there is risk to every investment you're making as well.
Hmm.
You could get zeroed out. So don't put all your money with us. I could tell them don't invest too much. Start slow, start slowly, and if it and only invest what you're willing to lose, right? Because
Hmm.
that's a smart way to do it. But the reality of the situation is, if you take a look at the financial instruments available in India, the regulations they follow, and the compliance they have to follow, and how much you could get away with over there. And if you're from India and you're hearing this, you understand what I'm talking about. There is a lot more strict protocols here in the US, and the US is far more stable. That I feel like if there was an equal risk product between India and the US would always be a superior place to invest, at least for the initials. I'm talking about those people who can't buy whole properties, like the middle class, the lower class, who just investing in FDs their entire lives. That's sort of the target audience. So don't mislead them. Do right by them. I think that's the most important thing.
That is a key to success.
Yeah.
So, which actually brings me perfectly into our rapid fire Q&A, where I'm going to be asking you four questions and just answer very top of mind.
Sure, sure, yeah. This is great. I mean, I didn't even know that we're going to do a podcast today, and I'm doing rapid fire Q&As. This is awesome. All right, let's do it.
You're made for it.
Paid for anything. You should. The email chain that I was sent had none of this information laid out on it, so I was like, business spotlight. Okay, so something might be happening.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So we do a fun rapid fire. The questions are going to be very, just very business oriented. So you'll be just fine. So
Mhm.
question number one is, what is the key to success for you?
Don't get off the gas pedal. Keep going, and as long as you enjoy what you're doing, you won't burn out. Just keep going at it.
Very true. Number two is, what is a piece of advice you have for other business owners?
Well, I'm very young, Kay. I'm 23 years old. I don't think I'm in a position to really be giving advice to other business owners. I think that would be a little disingenuous now, wouldn't it? I
I
don't.
don't, I mean, it's up to you.
If I had to give you one piece of advice, I'd be that don't be sold on the way you think a business should be done. And if you have to pivot, you should pivot,
Mm.
especially because you have to provide something the market wants, not what you think it needs always. And there is precedent where, if you think a world should move one way, you go down that path, keep going at it, but you can pivot to ensure that your vision is met.
That's some great advice. So thank you. I love that. Number three is it could be a book, a piece of content, a podcast, just anything that has resonated with you recently.
Recently, what have I been? I'll be honest with you that I don't really get a lot of time to listen to podcasts or read books because it's kind of full time with us at Raveum. Like we start working in India at like 6 a.m. Central Time and we work here until 7 p.m. Central Time. So there isn't much. But I remember during the come up where it was just me alone and I was working, I listened to a lot of Lex Friedman because it was very, very intellectual and you had a good idea of what's actually happening. Or Nikhil Kamath, if you like that. That he's a podcaster, covers businesses, stuff like that. It's an interesting watch.
Definitely. Thank you. And number four, and feel free to elaborate on this one. If you could wave a magic wand and
Mhm.
rapidly improve one aspect of your business, what would it be?
Um, yeah, how money has to move cross-border. I think there is a lot of regulations that you have to follow and a lot of pieces you have to follow when it comes to doing international transactions and foreign exchange transactions at least. That if you're someone who's a retail investor, 95, making like minimum wage wherever you are, that it just is so difficult for you to do it that it's easier not to do it, and then you go down the path of not making that happen. And I feel like some places the regulations make no sense. Like I don't know why you regulate the market so heavily, but that will be some place where I'm like, look, people should have freedom to move their money where they want to move it. As long as they're doing it for the right purposes, you shouldn't have a say on why they should do it and why they can't do it. Okay,
Yeah.
imagine you were in Nepal right now, right? You can't invest internationally, you can't move your money abroad. You just can't. It's your money, you earned it, you can't do it still.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be a huge challenge, especially because like mo that's all of your business.
Yeah,
Goes.
it's all of my business. Yeah.
Not like it's one aspect of it, it's like
No,
all
no,
of
it's
it.
all of it. I move money between borders and I make sure it's done compliantly. And most economies don't like having money leave their borders because they want to invest it. The US is happy because I'm moving money over here, so they're very supportive of what I do, and they should be, and I'm very grateful for that. But economies will restrict it. But I feel like, hey, it's someone's earned capital. They should be able to decide what they want to do with it, and you shouldn't restrict that movement so much, especially if you it's their money. They're not doing anything wrong by it. Like, okay, imagine if you wanted to buy a property in India, you couldn't, and the government just says no, you can't do that. Like,
Mm,
who are they to say that, right?
yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Well, thank you for sharing about that and for
Yeah.
answering these questions. Before we get to our final question of the day, how
Mhm.
can folks get plugged in with you and your company online?
Oh yeah, I mean, just follow us on LinkedIn, follow us on Twitter. We're very, very low key on what do you call LinkedIn because we only advertise and work within the Indian market so far right now. But if you want to follow us, LinkedIn's the place to do it, or Twitter's the place to do it. I mean, X, not Twitter.
I still call it Twitter too.
So do I. So does everyone else. It's hard to you on. It happens.
Oh, very true. Well, for our final question today, what is most inspiring to you today?
What is most inspiring to me today? It has to be the fact that there are so much innovation happening around me in the US, like so many different products, so many different startups, and they have the ability to fail that you don't mind taking that additional risk. And if you get it wrong, it's all right. Just keep doing it, keep going at it, and it'll work out. I think that's very, very inspiring. The big bets people are taking on different industries and different circumstances.
Very true. Well, thank you for sharing that. This has been a great conversation. Thanks
Great.
for sharing about your business.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kay. Thank you so much.